go underwater.
Oh, don't drown.
What?
Here we are. It's What's Cooking in Oklahoma City. My co-host, John Yasutake. This is the one and only Brenda Charles Edwards, host of that wonderful show, Seniors Matter.
Yes. That that up and coming show stands 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 short next to Seattle Here and Now. Hey, we got a great show today. I was able to get. Oh, I got in touch with Catherine and it's Burry. I hope I pronounced it Catherine. 'Cause I met her when she was a Goodwill, but now I found out she's with Seattle Neighborhood Farmers Markets, and
Mm.
she said our honored guest, who we're so happy to have, is August. And so come on in, August. We only have a 27-minute show. So we
Hi, August.
Hello,
August.
good evening. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me, John, Brenda, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll give Brenda some credit. She's always scouting out different things, and she actually shops at the farmers market. Other members of my family do too, but since you guys have changed your hours, and we're going to get into that. But August Franzen, thank you very much with the Columbia City Farmers Market. Brenda, meet August. And
Hello.
August,
Brenda.
it is nice to meet you. And
It is-
yes, I am a fan of the market. I have found wonderful flowers, wonderful food, even some different vegetables I hadn't seen before. So
Yeah.
it's nice. I really like it.
That's lovely to hear, and come say hey to me. I'm easy to spot in my extremely fashionable neon vest. I think that's how most people usually see me, but I'm not
Right.
wearing it right now.
Okay.
And John, of course, you're welcome too. I'm not surprised to hear that there are vegetables that are new to you, even though I've been doing this for working for the markets for about 4 years now. There are still things that farmers bring in that I've never seen before, have no idea how to cook, and have to ask them about.
Well, that's great. Well, so let me ask the first set of questions. Farmers markets has been expanding over the last. I know the hours have expanded. It used to be only for a short amount of time. Almost practically it's year round. You've got a whole number of markets now: University District, West Seattle, Capitol Hill, Columbia City, Lake City, Finney, which is probably Finney Ridge, and Magnolia. At least that's what I have. And again, you guys have been around for 20. Not you, but but you guys have been around for 25 years, and so that's just a great track record. And so I'm just going to ask you, where are you from? Did you grow up in this area, or are you a transplanted individual? Transplanted, like good to come
No.
on up.
That is
That's it.
Yeah.
that is a funny and an oddly difficult question. I was born here in Seattle.
Oh,
But my
okay.
family moved away when I was really young. My family moved back to Pittsburgh, where my dad is from, and
Mm.
so I grew up. I grew up in Pittsburgh, but I moved back to Seattle about 10 years now. So I've
Oh,
been here a while, and I was born here, but I didn't grow up here. It's a funny mix.
Yes, it is. And so, is your family still in Pittsburgh?
No, my family moved out here too. They're up in North Seattle, and so
Okay.
they walk to the Lake City market all the time.
Mm.
Hey, that's a terrible town. My goodness, John, are you from Pittsburgh?
no, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm from Chicago, and I'm truly a Pittsburgh Steelers fan all the way.
This is Steelers Nation. People
Yep.
don't like me when I say that because of 2005, but it wasn't the refs. Anyway,
Yeah, thank you. You got a homer here in Brenda Charles. She's a homer, but anyway.
Oh,
But
well, just for clarification, Franco Harris was one of my favorite football players.
really,
So,
oh yeah, the late. So and when I talked to Catherine, you had just opened up last week. This is your second week, right? When tomorrow will be your second week.
oh yeah,
Um,
I'll be there early tomorrow to get set up.
okay.
so now
And
is it in the same location or is it up above?
Same location. We're on Edmund Street between 35th and 37th, and then we go a little ways into Columbia Park right there too.
Okay,
Yeah,
because with all the traffic going in and out of PCC, I just wondered.
Yep, that's a lot to manage for all our vendors loading in, but we
Mhm.
pick up right at the end of that driveway.
right.
Okay,
And
got it.
there's a barricade because I drove through there last Wednesday to see the look at the lay of the
You drove
land.
through the barricade?
No, but around it.
Oh,
Oh,
people try, but
Steadily, slowly but surely, and steadily over the years, the Columbia City market has expanded its touch and its reach, its footprint to include now, like I say, the park down there, but it goes all the way extended all the way to the end of the block on Edmonds. So, and when I went there, it was, early in the spring and summer because it wasn't opened up any earlier, and now you're going to be going into the fall, I believe, right? Correct?
yes,
Coming up? Yeah.
that's the most exciting thing that's coming this season is, like you said, we've grown both in the number of vendors. I think this year we're currently scheduled to peak at around 44 total vendors, farms and prepared food and bakeries and all that.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's even grown in the years that I've been in Columbia City. I think based on how strong the past couple of seasons were, we used to cap it around 40, and I said, no, we can really support 44. So we've grown there. We've also grown in the dates that we're open. Historically, it's been sometime mid-late May. Now we're opening at the beginning of May. And most excitingly, going through the winter, because there isn't another year-round farmers market in Southeast Seattle at all. The other ones, the next closest is up on Capitol Hill or over in West Seattle. And so this past year was our first time as a pilot doing once a month on the second Saturday of each month, scheduled right there to make sure we were there and not overlapping with any holidays. And that was really to bring access to that fresh produce to Southeast Seattle and also to give vendors year-round income because farming's a hard business and they need that stability. So it was really it was win-win-win for everyone.
Will eggs be there?
Yes, they will. Thank you for asking, because that was, I will say, the most frequent question I got all last season was, are there eggs at the market? And I will say this year it's a Left Foot Farm bringing in eggs. Jeremy raises chickens. He also raises goats. So I don't know if anyone is a fan of goat milk, but it's hard to get anywhere but the farmer's market. So come through to Left Foot for eggs and goat milk.
Okay. I'll be there.
People who are allergic to cow's milk drink goat's milk and almond milk and coconut milk. All that, but
I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Careful, John.
I'm not a dietitian, but I know the proteins might be different between cow and goat, but maybe don't risk it.
Yeah.
When I was a baby, I did have goat's milk.
Really?
Okay.
I'm not intolerant, but
no, yes, you are.
I get along with everybody. And so, again, the farmers market is more than just a farmers market. You have a role to play in terms of what we talk. And I'm looking at this advocacy, education. You do support of all the businesses and all the farmers. You believe in and work for food justice. I mean, I'm reading this stuff and I said, man, this is amazing. This is more than just come by the goods. Local farmers and it's local, and that's great. But there's also, like I said, advocacy, education, support, and food justice, because even as one of the richest nations in the world, there is food anxiety. People, issues of what is good for you, organic versus non-organic, all of these things. And Brenda knows what I'm talking about. She shops there. She, and so does my family elements. But I think it's a really laudable position to take in, and I think people need to support it more. So, Brenda, let me ask you this. If you and I get together Wednesday, what time do you guys close down? You close in the afternoon, though, on Wednesday, correct?
We're open from 3 to 7 on Wednesdays.
Okay, so, well, Brenda works, but I don't. So Brenda, you and I could meet down there, right?
I don't know. I have to look at my schedule.
Well, yeah, she's very busy too. She's around those kids over at that local high school,
Careful, careful.
Rainier Beach, and I jokingly say all those kids with pointed heads at Rainier Beach High School. No, I shouldn't say it, but that's just
No, you shouldn't say it.
yeah. So
Might be
now,
listening.
You
but like August, one of the beautiful things is this is seasonal again. I mean, but you've expanded your hours because growing up, I knew during the fall one of the major harvests was potatoes. We did potatoes all during October, September, October, November. It was bitter cold out there in November, but we're Idaho red potatoes. We're bagging them and sizing them and everything. So you guys
Mhm.
have really expanded the hours, which is great. People need to go shopping. People need to buy fresh, organic stuff, and that's what's so beautiful about it. Now, and I'm going to be quiet after this, but because Brenda's checking the schedule, but when you talk about advocacy is yeah, we speak in support of, but you have a connection to deal with local government, city, county, right, etc.
Yes, we do. So that one of the biggest parts of advocacy that we do is in support of expanding food assistance, food accessibility programs. So at the market, one thing that we do is we double people's EBT money. So
Oh,
the farmers market is expensive. I'll be the first one to admit it, but when you're getting double your money, it's a lot cheaper. So
mm,
people come to the farmers market, they come to the manager tent, run however much they want off their card, whether that's $20 or $100, and we get them twice that much to go and
wow,
spend. And
Wow.
so one of the big things that we did was getting that match, one, started in the first place, and two, unlimited. Once we got it started in Seattle, it went out statewide and there was a cap at $40. Well,
hmm,
it takes more than $40 to feed a family.
right,
So
Yeah.
we get that match
hmm,
unlimited within the city. We've also been working to get the Fresh Bucks program launched, which is
okay,
the $40 for fruits and vegetables. We accept those benefits at the farmers market. And all of these things, this is too much bureaucracy. It's too much work for any individual farmer to be able
mhm.
to go through to register their business, to get an EBT terminal,
Oh, right,
so on
right,
and so forth. So we're doing that to aggregate it. We do all the work. It means that people have access to food. It means that the vendors have access to sales. We
hmm.
really are working on connecting the agencies with money to the farmers with the food and the people who need it.
How far away do the farmers come, August?
That's a great question. So the furthest away farm is out in Colville, Washington. So
Whoa, dude, that's
mhm.
quite a ways out. Yeah.
Olson Farms is way up in Colville. They're ranch, and they also grow potatoes, potato
Oh,
country.
Okay.
And the closest farm, off the top of my head, is Rising Sign Farm over in Carnation. So there's some
uh,
farms in King County. As the
mhm.
crow flies, there might be an even closer farm. Tien Tien on Vashon Island is also very close.
Oh, really?
Last year, the mushroom vendor who was there last year was growing their mushrooms out of a shipping container on Beacon Hill.
Oh,
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
So there's some farms that are right there. Actually,
mhm.
now that I mention it, Ciola B, our honey vendor, who will be coming in about a month, I think his hives are mostly out in West Seattle.
Oh, really?
So within the city limits is the closest, and a 6-hour drive is the furthest. But everyone, no matter how far, is from within Washington State.
Now, growing up, did you ever think you would be involved in a farmers market program for the community? What was your interest growing up? If I could ask real quick.
To be honest, my interest was in theater.
Ah,
I
I can
I
hear
was
that.
the
mhm.
well, thank you.
Hmm.
I did a lot of theater tech growing up. I was stage crew in high school. Through college, I worked as a sound and lighting tech. Wound up doing stage management.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the transfers, it's actually a pretty short jump from stage management to farmers market management. Because in both worlds, I'm working with a lot of individual people coordinating them and putting on a show, making sure that everyone who comes through has a great time. And really working with a cast of 20 actors or a cast of 40 farmers, the main difference is that the farmers are driving box trucks.
You should wear a top hat.
Hey, I look silly enough as is at the market.
Oh, no, that's great.
No, you don't look silly. I can't imagine that. But I'm going to come check you out, though.
Yeah, come say hey.
I will.
So, and I look at I recall when I went through, and I looked there the other day, a real diverse, as they say, diverse representation of all aspects of the community there. You know, you have Asian, African, etc. You know, which is I don't know how you could not do that in Columbia City. Brenda and I would say, hey, that's the way it's got to be in our neighborhood. So, but that's good. Do you you have an education program, but you also do. I was interested in learning about the support on the Good Farmer Fund that was created and how it really impacted those businesses during COVID-19. And it says we launched resiliency relief grants for farmers affected. So you actually helped farmers that were having a hard time financially, which is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I share with your audience what the Good Farmer Fund is?
Please.
Yeah, so the Good Farmer Fund, it's a grant program that we as the neighborhood farmers markets, as a nonprofit, we run this grant program. This is what a lot of our fundraising is for. This is what those totes that you can buy at the market, that's where that money goes. It goes to the Good Farmer Fund. And whenever there's a grower who has trouble on their farm, trouble with their business, it could be a truck breaking down, it could be a flood on the farm, it could be a greenhouse collapsing under snow. These are all real things that happen because farming is a hard business. They send us a letter. It's a real simple, short letter that just says whatever trouble they're facing. We write them a check for $4,000.
No, nice.
And it's as simple as that. We are, as much as we are here to take care of the community, that community includes the farmers that are growing.
Right.
And some of those programs specifically during COVID were alternative sales channels connecting growers directly with the food banks, because there was also greater hunger when people were out of work.
Yes.
So without the market there for the brief time that we were closed, and then we had to limit the number of vendors who were in the market, well, farmers needed to grow. Those crops were already in the ground, and people needed to eat. So we helped to facilitate, even though we weren't part of the deal, we helped to facilitate direct sales from farmers to the food banks to get that local nutritious produce to the people who needed it most.
That was great.
Is it safe to say that practically everything that in terms of food consumables is organic at the farmers market, Columbia City? Are there some items that aren't organic?
Yeah.
I would say that not that many of the growers are certified organic.
Okay.
And so when it comes to food, organic is truly a regulated, legislated word. It's not just a word that you can slap on as advertising. You need to register as organic with the state. And so a lot of our farmers are too small to be affording the organic certification. But I can tell you from visiting their farms that if they had the money or the scale to do it, they absolutely would be. I mean, these are farms who are really innovating in terms of sustainability and health in their practices. These are farms that aren't even tilling the soil. They're at a scale where they're at 1 acre. They're not using any power tools. They're going through with hand tools, hardly turning the soil. They're keeping pests under control by planting flowers that release chemicals from their roots, like natural plant pheromones, into the soil to disrupt nematodes. And these are things that, I'll be honest, like, no one's doing research on this. These farms aren't big enough to have formal research on them, and so it's just word of mouth. And at this point, I know from visiting the farms that, if you want to keep your if you want to keep nematodes out of your brassica crops, out of your cabbages, plant marigolds. How do we know this? Experience.
Really?
So no, I would say a lot of folks are not certified organic, but if you want to learn about their growing practices, ask, because this is the thing that farmers are most proud of.
Okay. Before we go on, I just want to let our audience know that we have a new show joining our Rainier Avenue Radio family. And it's on this Thursday at 1 p.m. called Wise Action. It's about environmental and climate justice. And it's hosted by Johnny Buck and Nicolette Worrell.
Worrell, right.
Worrell, thank you. So I just wanted to get that in there.
Well, well, if we're passing on information, your general information number is 206-547-2278. Is that correct? If I want to ask or call the office, there's an office number too, 206-632-5234. So if I want to make
him answer, John, about.
Well, I know, but I was going to say, August, which is the best phone number to call?
The second one.
Okay.
The second one's the better phone number to call.
And what was that, John?
206-632-5234. God save the king. I just got a British accent because
Okay, moving right along.
And so I want to join and I want to become. Do you have a membership series for people who are regular customers, that kind of thing? Is that something you guys thought about? Like if Brenda goes down there every week for the next 10 years, she gets a 10% discount or something. Something like that. No, I was just thinking it would be nice to be like a membership, like PCC has a membership card, that kind of thing. But no, I was just asking, whether that happens or not. Yeah.
So we don't have a formal membership that way. One thing that we do is a couple times a year, we will do essentially loyalty programs, especially during the winter. This past winter, we ran, I called it the Columbia City Passport. It had each of our monthly markets on it. Come by our booth, get a stamp. You turn it in at the end of the season with 4 or more out of the 6. I just handed you $20 to spend at the market.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
What an incentive. Gee, knees. I'm really reevaluating my runs to those mega corporation stores like Safeway, Kroger, etc., and shop, because like I said, my family does shop there. My wife and Brenda knows. Well, Brenda and my wife are lifelong friends. So, but we're gonna at least make it. You'll see me coming down because.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, yes, you will.
Great.
That's a threat and a promise. So that's good. So you say you've been there for a little over around 4 years then, huh? As working. And what is your actual title, if I could ask?
My title is market manager.
Oh.
And the sort of addendum to that is vendor outreach and support specialist. It's a mouthful. What that means is that I am the Columbia City market manager, because the way that the neighborhood farmers markets on the whole runs is that there's a market manager at each location where I can really focus on Columbia City, get to know the people in the neighborhood, get to know the restaurant owners who shop at the market. I don't know if you've talked to Meredith or of La Medusa or Evan at Off Alley, but I see them.
Right.
Yeah, I see Evan at the market at least every other week. So there's
they advertise that they shop locally, which is
it's the best thing in the world for us. So we've got one market manager in each spot that really focuses and gets to know the community. But every market manager has a little bit of a specialist role on the side. And what mine is farm recruitment across the whole network of markets. So let's say the Finney Ridge Farmers Market comes to me and says, hey, August, I don't have any beekeepers. I don't have anyone selling honey. Well, that's on me to find someone to sell honey there. Lake City comes to me and says, hey, I don't have a mushroom cultivator. And I say, okay, great. Meet this person.
Great.
So I spend as much time as I spend in Columbia City, I spend time on the phone with a lot of random farmers all around the state.
Wow.
When I say random, I mean talented and lovely to talk to, but I didn't expect to meet them.
And most of these are family-owned operations, correct? All of them, practically, right?
Yes, they're pretty much all family owned, and sometimes even smaller than that. There's farms that have 2 people working them.
Wow. Hey, hold it. My wife is a great. Maybe I'll have her expand her gardening into. She does great greens and beans.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 most important food groups.
Yes, legumes and
Ooh,
except kale. I can't kale. No.
Yeah, no, I can't do kale. I tried, and recently I tried again, and I've got to hang it up.
I've got maybe the worst opinion on greens, which is that most greens, if you're gonna cook them, I mean, I love my greens, but if you cook them, they're all mostly the same.
Oh yeah,
like Swiss chard.
Oh yeah,
kale,
Swiss chard.
Put them in a soup. Greens
kale
is greens.
is not the same taste texture as
I don't.
as oh gosh, I forgot my greens names now.
Collard mustard.
Turnip. No.
Turnip.
No.
Love the mustard greens.
Do not have the same texture. Not even close.
This is what I love, though. This is what I love is that everybody has a favorite green.
Yeah, right.
Everybody has a favorite green. Everybody's got a favorite way to cook it. And always ask the farmer for what they do if you don't know what to do. They love to share.
Guess what? August, our time is up. And it was wonderful having you. I definitely will be down to see you. I won't be there tomorrow, but I'll try for next week. John, say good night.
Good
night.
I
love you, my friend.
I love you too. Hey, August, we'll try to get you in later on in the year as we reach that.
I would love to tell you what's changed, what's come into season, but I am so thankful to have met both of you and had a chance to talk with Rainier Avenue Radio.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later, August.
Have a good night. Check in at the market.
Okay. Bye, John.
Bye.